Welcome to the Planning Commission meeting of October 26, 2023. My name is Vern Crow and I am the chairperson of the commission. The Planning Commission is a citizen body appointed by the City Council. The commission is empowered to make final decisions on certain matters, with those being appealable to the City Council. On other matters, the commission acts in an advisory role to the council, with the council making the final decision. You will have an opportunity to address the commission during the public hearing portion of the meeting. Your testimony is appreciated and encouraged. The commission acts from a written agenda. You will need to fill out a yellow speaker card and give it to the city staff if you wish to speak on an item. Copies of the agenda and the speaker cards are located on the table just outside the main door to the chambers. At this time, please be sure to silence your cell phones. There are 7 members appointed to the Planning Commission. At this time, I will ask the commissioners to introduce themselves and state the district they are representing, starting from my far right.
Tom Cole, Beryl District.
Edwin Nyberg, Choya District.
Martin Nowakowski, Yucca District.
John Gears, Agatillo District.
Brian Hooper, Saguaro District.
And again, I am Chairperson Vern Crow, and I represent Cactus. And let the record show that Commissioner John Crow has an excused absence for illness tonight. The Planning Commission receives staff assistance and guidance from the Planning Division and the City Attorney's Office during our meetings and before our meetings. Now, on the approval of the minutes, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of August 24th, 2023, September 14th, 2023, and September 28th, 2023 Planning Commission regular meetings?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of August 24th, 2023, September 14th, 2023, and September 28th, 2023 regular meeting of the Planning Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Perry, are there any withdrawals or continuances this evening?
Good evening, Chairperson Crow and Commissioners. There are none.
Okay, as there are none, let's move on to the public hearing items. The purpose of the public hearing is to provide interested parties an opportunity to present testimony for the Commissioner's consideration. We will follow the same procedures for each item. I will call the applicant number and the name of the applicant. Staff will present their report and answer questions for the Commission. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation and answer questions from the Commission. Other persons who wish to testify will be asked to do so and answer questions from the Commission. The applicant will have an opportunity for closing comments. Staff will be asked for a final comment on the application and procedural guidance. I will then close the public hearing and ask for a motion prior to further discussion within the Commissioners. If you wish to speak on an item, you will need to state your name and address for the record. Please be brief and to the point and avoid repetition. Tonight we'll be using a 3-minute mark, and the timer on the podium, when the light goes red, your 3 minutes is up. Please be brief, as I said, and avoid repetition. I reserve the right to limit the length of your testimony, which again, it'll be 3 minutes. All exhibits shown to the Commission during your presentation will become part of the permanent record and must be submitted for the file. Large groups should designate a spokesperson. Applause and other disruptions which delay the hearing will not be tolerated. This evening we have 3 public hearing items. Our first hearing item on the agenda is case number PP2202. Ms. Lavelle.
Good evening, Chairperson Crow and Commissioners. Tonight I'll be presenting the Cinna Estates Preliminary Plat PP 22-02. The applicant requests Planning Commission approval of Cinna Estates for a 21-lot subdivision. So this is a vicinity map that shows the property in relation to City Hall. It is north of the northeast corner of 83rd Avenue and Glendale Avenue, and it's approximately 1.5 miles from City Hall. This zoning map shows the current zoning of the property, which is R14 planned area, planned residential development. And as you can see, this area consists of many different zonings that are medium and small single-family residential, multifamily residential, and then there's commercial uses along Glendale Avenue. So this aerial map shows a bird's eye view of the property. As you can see, this is a long, narrow strip. It's located north of the northeast corner of Glendale Avenue and 83rd Avenue, and it is between 81st Avenue and 83rd Avenues. So some of the project details. This property is located approximately 2 miles from the Loop 101 interchange and about 1.5 miles away from the Westgate Entertainment District and 1.5 miles from City Hall. It's zoned R14 planned residential development, which has a minimum lot size of 5,300 square feet in size, and allows for a 2-story bedroom homes. Access will be taken off of 83rd Avenue and 81st Avenue by way of a 50-foot drive aisle that will be a private drive aisle that will have curb gutter and sidewalk and landscaping. And something else that has been proposed is about an acre of open space, which includes passive and active recreation areas, which include walking trails, a playground, basketball courts, and ramadas and picnic areas. So the applicant has met all public notification requirements. They did have a neighborhood meeting. 2 neighbors did attend this meeting and had some questions in regards to screening and open space requirements. Prior to this meeting, I received 2 phone calls that were in regards to just some questions on the proposal, and then we did receive 1 email in support of the project. So this is the preliminary plat plan, and as you can see, there is a 50-foot drive aisle that will connect 83rd and 81st Avenues. Both sides of the street will have curb gutter and sidewalk. It'll be lined with landscaping. And then to the south of the drive aisle, there is a large retention basin that includes amenities such as the playground and the basketball court, walking trails, ramadas. And then to the north of that drive aisle, there are 21 lots. And in between a number of these lots, to break up the rows, are open space tracts that include a dog park and ramadas and picnic areas. So staff finds that the proposal meets the requirements of the subdivision and minor land division ordinance, and also meets the intent of providing suitable building lots under the Residential Design and Development Manual. So this property is zoned R14 PRD, and so it allows for small lot buildings, and these lots meet the Residential Design and Development Manual as well as the subdivision ordinance. Staff also finds that the proposal would be a viable use of an infill property near existing infrastructure and can provide housing in proximity to jobs, shopping, and services, and thereby adds to the housing variety in the area. This subdivision is primely located in that it's about 2 miles from a major employment corridor, which is the Westgate shopping area, and also the Loop 101. And this, in addition, that this is going to provide additional housing opportunities to the employment center, but also to the existing area. Staff also finds that the preliminary plat has provided all the information required in section 3.24 of the city code, and all of the applicable city departments have reviewed the request and have recommended approval. So the Planning Commission must analyze this project in regards to public safety, health and welfare, open spaces and amenities, streets and roads, sideways, pathways, and also that it will provide housing options that meet the range of the socioeconomic needs. Staff recommends the approval of PP 22-02 subject to the following stipulation. Development shall be in substantial conformance with the Cinna Estates project narrative and preliminary plat received September 20th, 2023. That concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioners? Commissioner Nowakowski?
Thank you. 21 homes and amenities such as playground, basketball court, ramada, walking trails, dog park. Is that going to be maintained by
Through the chair, Chairperson Nowakowski, yes, it will. The applicant has provided to the city a draft CCNRs, and it will be maintained by the homeowners association.
Commissioners, anything else? Thank you, Ms. Lavelle. Would the applicant or applicant's representative please come forward, state your name for the record, make your presentation if you needed to add anything?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sina Sabeti, owner of the Sina Estates. It is an honor to contribute.
What is your address, sir?
13951 North Scottsdale Road, number 211, Scottsdale, Arizona 85254.
Thank you, sir.
So sorry, I don't have too much to add. It's just wanted to mention that it's gonna be an honor to to add value to the neighborhood. I know that neighborhood has some issues, especially with this specific infill. There has been too many of homeless people trespassing the property, and I've had complaints from the neighbors back and forth. And I have involved the city of Glendale, the police department, to help us with resolving the issue with the trespassers. So looking forward to make this happen, and I appreciate your time.
Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Cole?
Thank you for your presentation, sir. Puppy Sports is your neighbor?
Yes.
That business is permanently closed. Is that your understanding?
I do not know about the business, but they have contacted me once to purchase our land, and because it was their plan to add to the business, I didn't agree with that because I know the neighboring properties had issue. They didn't want it to continuously be commercial or a vacant property. So I felt obligated to continue this project and make those 21 houses and make that area more secured.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioners? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, I do have one speaker card from Don Gross. Mr. Gross, come forward and state your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Don Gross. I live at 8142 West Palmer Avenue, Glendale, Arizona, 85303. And I'm a large group of one, sort of representing the Glen Eden subdivision, which is just south of this proposed new subdivision. I'm not opposed to the project per se. I think it's good to get that vacant lot of about 5 acres developed because, as you said, we've had quite a few transients and break-in and people living behind our common wall. Thing that my wife and I are not in favor of is having any 2-story homes on any of the lots because of the site view into our property. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Commissioners, anything for Mr. Gross? Thank you, sir. Okay, would the applicant or applicant's representative like to make any closing remarks? Okay. Commissioners, anything further? Okay, the public hearing for case number PP 2202 is now closed. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve PP 22-02, subject to the stipulations contained in the staff report.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioners, any further comments regarding PP 22-02? Okay, hearing none, I have a motion and a second to approve case number PP 22-02, subject to stipulations as outlined by staff. I will now conduct a roll call vote. Commissioner Hooper.
Aye.
Commissioner Gears.
Aye.
Commissioner Nowakowski.
Aye.
Vice Chair Nyberg.
Aye.
Commissioner Cole.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Case number PP 22-02 has been recommended for approval subject to stipulations as outlined by staff. Mr. Gruber, what are the next steps in the process?
Chair and Commission, your action with respect to the preliminary plat is final, subject to a written appeal received within 15 days.
Thank you, Mr. Gruber. Next agenda item, case number CUP 23-15, Mr. Lerma.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. Before you, you have a request by the applicant, Diversified Partners. They're requesting approval of a conditional use permit in order to allow a convenient use, drive-through use on the neighborhood commercial zoning district. The property is approximately 2.3 acres southwest of City Hall. It is located on the southwest corner of 75th Avenue and Bethany Home Road. The site is approximately 3.7 acres in size and is located in the Yucca district. The property, again, is zoned neighborhood commercial. Adjacent property on 75th Avenue on the southeast corner of 75th Avenue and Bethany Home Road is zoned also neighborhood commercial. To the north, you'll see single-family residentially zoned districts to the northeast and northwest corner of Bethany Home Road and 75th Avenue. And to the bottom of the property, you'll see also a single-family residentially zoned district. Abutting to the west, you'll see commercial office zoning district. Here's an aerial view of the property. The property is currently vacant. Historically, it's been used for agricultural purposes. And in the last few years, it's been used for overflow parking for the Tamachoff Ranch, the seasonal activities that they have to the south. To the west, you'll see it is currently a community center. It used to be a Coyote Ridge Elementary School. It is now being used as a community resource center. Again, to the south is Tamachoff Farms. Adjacent on 75th Avenue to the east is going to be CVS commercial site, and then further down south is gonna be single-family residential subdivision. To the north, you'll see the same residential use, single-family residential zone district. To the northwest and the northeast, you'll see what is gonna be a residential development as well. Here's the site plan that is the building to the north is going to be the property that we're discussing right now. It is labeled as a pad A. It is proposed, and then the 10th use for this building is for a drive-through, a coffee shop drive-through use. The commercial building is projected to be 1,242 square feet in size, with an additional 400 square feet of an outdoor patio area. As you'll see, has a dual drive-through aisle wrapping around the actual building. The end user is projected to be Dutch Brothers. The hours of operation is projected to be from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. Staff will be determined upon the demand on the site. As you can see here on the site plan, there's one point of access along Bethany Home Road and 2 points of access with decel lanes on 75th Avenue. To mitigate the use on the site, the applicant is applying a 15-foot landscaping buffer and an 8-foot wall along the west property line and the south property line. The applicant has completed their citizens outreach. The neighborhood meeting was conducted June 26th of this year. There were no attendees to the site. To go back a little bit, so this application actually, or this site actually might seem familiar to the commission. It actually came in for their entitlements and the general plan amendment back in April, and then the next month in May went through City Council and received approval for a general plan amendment from office to general commercial, and the change to the zoning classification from to commercial office to neighborhood commercial. So going back to the citizens outreach, again, the applicant had a neighborhood meeting conducted in June 26th of this year. There were no attendees to the said meeting, and to this point, neither staff nor staff has received any type of communication from surrounding property owners. The final report is included within the staff report. So staff has concluded their analysis and has made the following conclusions to this request. The proposed use is in conformance or with the general plan designation of general commercial. General commercial land use designation. Its intent is to provide different development types in one site that is compatible with the surrounding uses. And through building design and site design adhered to the neighborhood scale. And the property owner is abiding by this intent. The building location, building orientation, drive-through lanes, and signage are key components that will provide safety for both vehicular and pedestrian traffic internal to the site. The proposed use is compatible with adjacent commercial use that's in the southeast corner of this intersection. The use itself does not appear to be detrimental to the site or to the surrounding uses. This type of use and similar uses are typically located in major intersections. By use, I mean commercial uses that are more intense in nature. A drive-through use and a gas station are typically going to be located on the hard corner of a major intersection, which is the case for this proposal, and is surrounded by residential, either established residential uses or proposed or future residential uses. So through the development standards and through design standards, that are applied is to further mitigate the use of the site it might have on the surrounding uses. So as discussed before, the applicant is going to be locating an 8-foot wall along the west property line and south property line with a 15-foot landscaping buffer. Along the street frontage on 75th Avenue and Bethany Home Road, they're proposing a 25-foot landscaping buffer with a 4-foot screen wall where the parking stalls will be facing the public roadway. So at approximately 3.7 acres, the subject property is adequate, or the use is adequate for the subject property, not only for this use, but other uses as well. The attached site plan demonstrates the required stacking for a vehicle within the drive-through. Per zoning ordinance, the minimum requirement for vehicular stacking within a drive-through area is going to be 6 vehicle stacking, and the site plan shows 31 vehicle stacking. The access points, building setbacks, interior circulation, parking areas, landscape areas, wall location, vehicle signage have all been reviewed by staff and has been determined that it meets the general compliance with our city requirements. This proposal, for this proposal, the traffic department didn't require a traffic study. That was provided during the entitlement process when the applicant was proposing or seeking to rezone the property, is when the applicant provided the traffic impact analysis. So again, keep in mind that the traffic impact analysis analyzes the existing conditions of a site, proposed access points, additional traffic the site is projected to generate, and based off of that analysis, it provides a recommendation as far as off-site improvements. So the traffic impact analysis that was provided for the rezoning application made several recommendations that were added as stipulations for the rezoning approval. These had to do with the deceleration right turn lanes along the one access point on Bethany Home Road and the 2 access points on 75th Avenue, and a 55-foot right-of-way dedication with off-site improvements along 75th Avenue. Through site design, the developer is gonna make sure to provide well-lit areas. I know that was one of the concerns for the rezoning application. So they're gonna focus the all open areas to be well-lit and exposed from street view in order to provide that safe environment to the site. All applicable departments have reviewed the application, and this proposal has, the stipulations have been added to this proposal in order to ensure mitigation to the adjacent sites. With this, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve this case or this request with the following condition: the developer shall be in substantial conformance with the site plan and project narrative, date stamp August 3rd, 2023, subject to design review from the Development Service Department and the Planning Division. Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, this concludes my presentation.
Commissioners? Commissioner Cole?
Thank you, Mr. Lerma. Very thorough as usual. Do I recall correctly that this body recommended against ZON 2216?
Through the chair, Mr. Cole, that is correct. I believe the Planning Commission did forward a recommendation of denial. And when it got to City Council back in May, City Council made or approved the zoning case with additional stipulations. Additional stipulations were added. Some of the neighbors had issue with some of the uses that are allowed within the commercial or the neighborhood commercial zoning district. So then, in addition to the stipulations that were recommended by staff, another stipulation was added to disallow some uses that are allowed within the neighborhood commercial zoning district.
Thank you for the clarification.
Commissioner Gears?
Is the city gonna do any improvements for the bus stop just south of Bethany? Or is it just gonna be, are they gonna widen the lanes? Or is there any thoughts about improving that?
Through the chair, Mr. Gears, transportation didn't provide any type of feedback for improvements to the bus stop. So the applicant is required to make off-site improvements to the areas that are abutting their property.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Nowakowski?
Mr. Lerma, I'm glad that this went to city council, and it appears that the developer met with the neighborhood and that restrictions were made on type of uses for that development. So I just want to add that yeah, we did have concerns, and it seems like those concerns were addressed and heard by the city council. And that's the good process. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lerma. Would the applicant or applicant's representative please come forward, state your name for the record, and make your presentation?
Chairperson Crow and Commissioners, I'm Rafat Abdul-Jabbar with NRM Group. I do not have a presentation this evening, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Commissioners?
Hi, AJ. It's good to see you back.
You as well.
Dutch Brothers is the end user on this coffee one, right?
It is.
I'm really excited about that because I know that those are good people. They're good to the community, and that I know the neighborhood was really concerned about the homelessness and the vagrancy in that area, and I know that Dutch Brothers will help to keep that away. So I just wanted to note that, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. We're really excited. They're great operators, and we think we got a good one. Thank you.
Commissioners? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Great. I do have two speaker cards. I have one from Sandra and June Bittner and one from Scott Hens. So Sandra or June, which one? Come forward and state your name and address, please.
Good evening. I'm Sandra Bittner. The address is 7946 West Vermont Avenue, located in Glendale, Arizona, 85303. Thank you, Commissioners, for the opportunity to voice some questions this evening. I am not familiar with the new stipulations that were specified on the limited use inside of the present designation for that property, and I'd like to learn a little bit more about that, mainly because we had some questions in the following area. The farm that is just south of this designated use area does produce food that the community consumes, and I would like to make sure that what I am consuming is not going to be tainted in any way through additional chemicals or things like that. So I would, of course, care about drainage for this particular use, permitted use, as well as the livelihood of the people at the farm, to make sure, unfortunately, there are cases in which when you have a farm next to a commercial property, there's an increased use of theft where they take the plants, and unfortunately those plants represent their livelihood. And so, although at that particular farm there is, as you are well aware of, there are recreational activities as well. So my questions and our questions from our family all center upon those, and I hope I'll be able to speak with some of the folks here today and make use of your knowledge as commissioners in order to get some of those answers, so that we know a little bit more about drainage, chemical restrictions for those that choose to occupy and use that area, as well as I recognize the buffer will certainly help with potential theft and things of that nature. And to your comments earlier, yes, there have been some issues with people making use of the property from a homeless type perspective. So I certainly appreciate the work that's been done in the presentations that were presented here this evening, but I do have a few more questions, and I hope we'll be able to get some answers to them this evening or at a future date, whichever is most convenient for all present. If there's any questions for me, I'd be happy to take them at this time.
Commissioners? Ms. Bittner, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to have shared our concerns this evening. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Alex, maybe you could get with her after the meeting and see what you can work out there, and maybe have a phone meeting or something. Just schedule something. Thank you. Mr. Scott Hintz?
Hello, I'm Scott Hinsey with Diversified Partners. Address is 18002 North 53rd Place, Scottsdale, Arizona. I was just available for questions as well if anything cropped up, so any questions I can answer as well.
Well, you might hang around after the meeting with Mr. Lerma and maybe talk to the lady. Commissioner Nowakowski?
Just because it was brought up earlier, some of the restricted uses, do you have knowledge what the council stipulated?
Yeah, I have to pull them up again to look at it.
It's okay if you don't, in general.
It was just uses that we weren't planning on doing anyway that were obnoxious or, bad odors, just stuff that people didn't want and we're not going to do anyway. So we were more than happy to listen to the neighbors and accommodate them.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions or comments from the applicant or the applicant's representative? Are we done? Good. Commissioners, anything else? Okay, the public hearing for case number CUP 23-15 is now closed. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve CUP 23-15 per the findings and
Right.
subject to the stipulation contained in the staff report.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further comments for CUP 23-15 from the commission? Hearing none, I have a motion and a second to approve case number CUP 23-15, subject to the stipulations as outlined by staff. I will now conduct a roll call vote. Commissioner Hooper?
Aye.
Commissioner Gears?
Aye.
Commissioner Nowakowski?
Aye.
Vice Chair Nyberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Cole?
Aye.
Chairperson votes aye. Case number CUP 23-15 has been recommended for approval subject to the stipulations as outlined by staff and is passed. Mr. Gruber, what are the next steps in the process?
Chair and Commission, your action with respect to case number CUP 23-15 is final, subject to a written appeal received within 15 days.
Thank you, Mr. Gruber. Next agenda item is case number CUP 23-16. Mr. Lerba, again.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, I'll try to be really brief with this one, taking into account that it's within the same site. So again, this is the applicant, Diversified Partners, is requesting for a conditional use permit in order to allow a convenience use, drive-through use within the same site, zone neighborhood commercial. Again, the property is zoned neighborhood commercial. It is on the southwest corner of Bethany Home Road and 75th Avenue. This request is for the second building that you see south of what's labeled as Building A. This one is identified as, sorry, not Building A, but Pad A. This next building is identified as Pad B. Pad B is proposed to have multiple units on that building, approximately 6,900 square feet, with each suite at 1,600 square feet. There is no end user right now for the drive-through use, but the drive-through, the suite that has a drive-through window will be the suite all the way to the south, the further south. Again, the points of access to the site are gonna be, the one point of access is gonna be along Bethany Home Road. That, again, that access point is projected to have a right turn deceleration lane, along with the two access points of Bethany Home Road, on 75th Avenue. Also, both of them will have a decel right turn lane. The access point all the way, the furthest access point south is also gonna have a right in, right out only. Again, neighborhood meeting was conducted June 26, 2023. Neither staff nor the applicant had any communication with any property owners for this request. So again, the applicant is abiding by the intent of the general commercial zoning, general commercial designation. The intent of this designation is to have multiple uses on one site, with the development being compatible with the surrounding uses and to the scale of the adjacent neighborhood. Staff feels that the building layout or the overall design of this site is meeting that intent. Going a little bit back to the site plan, to reference the site plan, the buildings are pushed more closer to the intersection or facing 75th Avenue and Bethany Home Road. That's an additional way to mitigate the use, is trying to locate the buildings as far away as possible from the residential uses, and the site plan is meeting that intent. Again, the staff perceives that this use itself is not going to be detrimental to the property or adjacent uses. Again, these types of uses are typically located on hard corners of major intersections based on the impact they're going to have and the traffic that they're going to generate. And the site layout indicates that applicant has worked both with the city in order to mitigate the impact that these two drive-throughs are going to have on the surrounding area. At 3.7 acres in size, again, the use is adequate for the size of the lot, not only for this use, but is designed to have multiple uses on the site, which is the intent of this land use designation. There's adequate access to the site. Again, already discussed the 3 points of access that are gonna, which the applicant is required to make additional off-site improvements in order to have a safe circulation internally and externally to the site. And staff has reviewed, all the departments have reviewed this and have recommended approval for this application. So these two pads, Pad A and Pad B, are currently in the process of being approved to design review as well, and all meet all the requirements that the city has requested of them. So with this, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve this request for a conditional use permit with the following stipulations: that that the project abide by the project narrative and the site plan, date stamped August 3rd, 2023. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this concludes my presentation.
Commissioners, anything for Mr. Lerma? Thank you, sir. Okay, would the applicant or applicant's representative please come forward, state your name for the record, and make your presentation.
Chairperson Crowe and Commissioners, thank you again. I do not have a presentation, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Commissioners?
Thank you,
sir. Ms. Bidner, I'm assuming you have the same concerns on this item. Thank you. Commissioners, anything further? Okay, the public hearing for case number CUP 23-16 is now closed. Do I hear a motion?
Chairman, I'd like to move to approve CUP 23-16 per the findings and subject to the stipulations contained in the staff report.
Do I hear a second? Any further comments, commissioners? Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve case number CUP 23-16, subject to the stipulations as outlined by staff. I will now call a roll call vote. Commissioner Cole.
Aye.
Vice Chair Nyberg.
Aye.
Commissioner Nowakowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Gears.
Aye.
Commissioner Hooper.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. CUP number 23-16 has been recommended for approval subject to the stipulations as outlined by staff. Mr. Gruber, what are the next steps?
Chair, members of the commission, your action with respect to case number CUP 23-16 is final, subject to a written appeal received within 15 days.
Thank you, Mr. Gruber. Ms. Perry, is there any other business this evening?
Chairperson Crow, Commissioner, there are none.
Are there any planning staff reports?
Chairperson Crow and Commissioners, our next meeting is going to be on November the 9th. And at that meeting, under the commission will need to take action, a motion and a vote for a chair and a vice chair. In addition to that, at the meeting on November the 9th, we will also have on the agenda for the commission to review, motion and approve the 2024 public hearing schedule for public hearings.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. Are there any commission comments or suggestions, gentlemen? Commissioner Nowakowski?
In the past week or so, Mesa had introduced a set of new design regulations in regards to drive-through lanes. I don't know if you're aware of that, but it'd be interesting to look at it. I think it's when drive-throughs are within a certain distance of residential homes and looking at the decibel levels. It just triggers a different way of looking at commercial development with drive-throughs near residents. And that was one of the concerns I had at 91st and Cardinals Way. So, thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, commissioners. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? Okay, hearing none, the next regular meeting of the Planning Commission will be held on Thursday, November 9th at 6 p.m. here at the Glendale Civic Center. If there's no further business, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned.